Have you ever wondered how one small idea can change the world? Today, we're going to explore the full story of Netflix, one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. But this is not just a story about business or movies. It's a story about dreams, courage, innovation, and learning from mistakes. As you listen, I want you to practice your English, repeat key sentences, and feel inspired to follow your own dreams. Just like the people who created Netflix. Let's begin. Imagine it's the late 1990s, the internet is still new. People rent movies from physical stores, not online. Most families have a DVD player, or maybe even a VCR. When you want to watch a movie, you go to a store like Blockbuster, choose a DVD, and pay a small fee. But if you forget to return it on time, you have to pay a late fee. Those late fees could be very annoying. Now meet Reed Hastings, a man who loved movies but hated late fees. One day he rented a movie called Apollo 13. He forgot to return it on time and had to pay a $40 late fee. That moment made him think, why can't there be a better way to rent movies? Why can't people watch what they want, when they want, without late fees? That small frustration became a big idea, an idea that would change how the world watches entertainment forever. Repeat after me. Big ideas often start from small problems. Say it again. Big ideas often start from small problems. That's a good sentence to remember. Reed Hastings teamed up with his friend Mark Randolph, a marketing expert who also loved technology. Together they discussed many business ideas before settling on one. A DVD rental service that operated online. You could order a DVD from their website, and it would arrive by mail. When you were done, you could send it back in a prepaid envelope. No late fees, no stress. At that time, most people thought it wouldn't work. They said, who would order movies online? People like going to the store. But Reed and Mark believed the internet could change everything. They launched Netflix in 1997. With just 30 employees and about 900 movie titles. The company's name came from two words, net for the internet and flix, short for flicks, which is a slang word for movies. Say this aloud. Netflix means internet movies. Good job. In the early days, Netflix was very different from what it is today. There was no streaming, no binge watching, no original shows, just DVDs in the mail. Customers could visit the Netflix website, choose the movies they wanted, and wait a few days for them to arrive. It was convenient, but not perfect. Many people still preferred to go to the store. To make their service more attractive, Netflix introduced a new business model, a subscription plan. Instead of paying for each DVD rental, you could pay a monthly fee and rent as many movies as you wanted. One or two at a time. No due dates, no late fees, and total freedom. It was revolutionary. Repeat this. Netflix gave people freedom to watch movies without pressure. That's what made it special. Over time, Netflix grew. More and more people discovered that it was easier to order movies online than to drive to a store. The company built a reputation for convenience and customer satisfaction. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. In the early 2000s, Netflix tried to partner with Blockbuster, the giant video rental company. Reed Hastings even flew to Texas to propose a deal. He suggested that Netflix handle the online business while Blockbuster continued managing the stores. But Blockbuster's executives laughed at the idea. They thought Netflix was too small and unimportant. They didn't see the future coming. Let's pause for a moment. What lesson can we learn from that story? Sometimes big companies ignore small competitors because they think they can't lose. But the world changes quickly. When technology evolves, the future belongs to those who adapt. Say this with me. The future belongs to those who adapt. By the mid-2000s, DVDs were still popular, but something new was happening. Faster internet speeds. People started watching short videos online. Platforms like YouTube were becoming famous. Netflix saw an opportunity again. People could stream short videos. Maybe one day they could stream full movies and shows. In 2007, Netflix launched its streaming service. For the first time, people could watch movies instantly on their computers, without waiting for a DVD in the mail. It was a turning point, a revolution in entertainment. Can you repeat this? Streaming changed everything, exactly. Streaming made Netflix faster, easier, and more fun. You could watch what you wanted, when you wanted. No more waiting, no more mail, no more discs. But success didn't come overnight. The company had to deal with new challenges. Licensing content, building servers, and convincing customers to try something new. Not everyone believed streaming would last. Some people said, "I prefer DVDs," while others said, "The internet is too slow." But Netflix kept improving its technology and design. Slowly, millions of users switched to streaming. At this point, Netflix was growing rapidly in the United States. But Reed Hastings had an even bigger dream: to make Netflix global. He wanted people from every country to have access to great stories, anytime, anywhere. That dream would take years to achieve, but the vision was clear: entertainment for everyone. Before we move on, let's practice some vocabulary from this story so far. Repeat these words after me. Subscription, a payment you make regularly to use a service. Stream, to watch or listen to something directly over the internet. Innovation, a new idea or method that changes the way we do things. Adapt, to change in order to survive or succeed in a new situation. Great job. These are very useful words. Now think about this question. If you had an idea like Reed Hastings, would you take the risk to start your own business? Would you dare to try something new, even if people laughed at you? Sometimes learning English is a bit like starting a company. You need patience, practice, and belief in yourself. There will be moments when you feel shy or afraid of making mistakes, but every time you practice, you grow stronger. Every new word you learn brings you closer to fluency. So, whenever you watch Netflix or any movie in English, remember this story. Remember that big success starts with small steps, and small steps start with a single decision: the decision to try. Let's finish this section with one last sentence. Repeat after me. Success begins with one small idea. Say it again. Success begins with one small idea. Excellent work. At this point in our story, Netflix has gone from a small DVD rental company to a growing online streaming platform. But that's only the beginning. In the next part, we'll see how Netflix changed the way the whole world watches TV, and how it became a symbol of creativity, technology, and resilience. By 2010, Netflix had already become a household name in the United States. Millions of people were watching movies and shows online, and the company's red logo had become a symbol of comfort and entertainment. But something interesting was happening. People were starting to binge watch. That means watching several episodes of a show in one sitting, instead of waiting a week for the next episode like on traditional TV. Repeat after me. Binge watching means watching many episodes at once. Say it again slowly. Binge watching means watching many episodes at once. That new habit was changing how people enjoyed stories. Instead of waiting for TV schedules, they could control what to watch, when to watch, and how long to watch. Netflix didn't invent binge watching, but it made it a worldwide trend. The company realized that people loved freedom and choice, and they built their entire platform around that idea. At that time, Netflix was still streaming shows and movies that belonged to other studios. They paid licenses to companies like Disney, Sony, and NBC to show their content on the platform. But that model had a weakness. Netflix didn't own the content. If another company decided to remove its movies, Netflix could lose subscribers. Reed Hastings and his team understood that to survive and grow, they needed to create their own shows and movies, original content. It was a bold move, because producing shows is very expensive, and Netflix had never done it before. But they believed in taking risks. In 2013, Netflix released its first original series, House of Cards, starring Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright. It was a political drama filled with intrigue, power, and ambition. The show became a massive success and won several awards. It was also one of the first series ever to release all its episodes at once, encouraging the world to binge-watch. Say this out loud. Netflix started making its own shows. Now repeat, House of Cards was the first big Netflix original. After that, more hits followed. Orange is the New Black, Narcos, Stranger Things, and The Crown. Each show attracted millions of viewers from around the world. Suddenly, Netflix was no longer just a platform. It had become a creator, a storyteller, a studio. Let's stop for a moment and think about what this means. Netflix didn't start as a movie studio. It started as a simple DVD rental business. But by listening to customers, adapting to technology, and daring to innovate, it transformed itself completely. This is a good English expression to learn. To reinvent yourself. It means to change your direction or identity in order to succeed in a new environment. Repeat. Netflix reinvented itself. Say it again. I can reinvent myself too. That's true for you as a learner. You can always reinvent yourself. You can change your habits, learn new skills, and become more confident in English every day. Say this with me. Stories connect the world. Again, stories connect the world. Netflix's global expansion was not easy. It faced challenges with internet speeds, censorship, cultural differences, and competition. But the company kept improving. It developed advanced algorithms that recommended shows based on what you liked. Those suggestions were powered by artificial intelligence, or AI. Let's practice pronunciation. Artificial intelligence. Now repeat. AI helps Netflix recommend shows. Good job. AI was one of Netflix's biggest strengths. It made the platform more personal. Everyone saw a slightly different version of Netflix tailored to their taste. If you loved romantic comedies, Netflix showed you more of them. If you liked crime dramas, it filled your homepage with suspenseful shows. That's why Netflix became addictive. It knew exactly what people wanted to watch next. But while Netflix was growing fast, new competitors were entering the market. Disney launched Disney Plus, Apple launched Apple TV Plus, and Amazon expanded Prime Video. Suddenly, the streaming world became crowded. Everyone wanted a piece of the pie. Competition forced Netflix to innovate even more. It invested in better storytelling, higher quality production, and unique international content. It also experimented with interactive shows like Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, where viewers could make choices that changed the story's ending. It was like mixing gaming and TV together, a brand new experience. Repeat after me. Innovation never stops. Say it again louder. Innovation never stops. Exactly. At the same time, Netflix began using data to make creative decisions. The company analyzed what genres people watched most, what countries were growing fastest, and even what times of day people preferred to watch certain shows. That data-driven approach made Netflix smarter. For example, they noticed that people loved shows with strong characters and emotional stories. That's why many Netflix originals focused on human emotions, friendships, family, and personal struggles. Even when the stories were fantasy or science fiction, they felt real because of the emotions inside them. Let's think of a few examples. Stranger Things was not just about monsters. It was about friendship and courage. The Crown was not just about royalty. It was about power and loneliness. Money Heist was not just about robbery. It was about rebellion and hope. Say this. Every great story has emotion. Again, every great story has emotion. Now, let's connect this to English learning. When you learn new words or watch shows in English, Try to focus on the emotions too. Don't just memorize vocabulary, feel it. Notice how actors express sadness, happiness, anger, or surprise. Repeat their lines. Copy their tone and rhythm. That's how you develop natural fluency. For example, when a character says, "I can't believe this is happening," don't just read the sentence. Say it with feeling. Try it now. "I can't believe this is happening." Good. Netflix, in a way, has become one of the best teachers of English in the world. Millions of learners improve their listening skills, pronunciation, and vocabulary by watching Netflix shows with subtitles. It's a fun, effective, and natural way to learn. Here's a quick exercise for you. When you watch a Netflix show next time, pause after an interesting line and repeat it aloud. Try to mimic the pronunciation, the emotion, and the rhythm. Then write down new words you learn and use them in your own sentences. Say this with me. I learn English by watching and repeating. One more time. I learn English by watching and repeating. Great. By now, Netflix had built something bigger than a company. It had built a culture, a new way for people to connect through stories. From the United States to Brazil, from India to Germany, people were laughing, crying, and dreaming together, all through one platform. But the journey wasn't over yet. Netflix still had many challenges ahead: rising production costs, changing audience habits, and growing competition. Still, the company's spirit remained strong. Innovate, adapt, and keep telling great stories. In the next section, we'll explore how Netflix handled those challenges, what mistakes it made, and how it continued to grow despite them. And we'll learn more powerful English phrases and lessons along the way. Before we end this part, let's repeat 3 important messages from today's section. 1. Innovation never stops. 2. Stories connect the world. 3. I can reinvent myself. Excellent. Keep that positive energy with you. You're not just learning about Netflix. You're learning how to grow, adapt, and believe in yourself. By the late 2010s, Netflix was not just a streaming service. It was a movement. The company had changed how people watched television, how stories were told, and even how entertainment was produced. But as Netflix became bigger, new challenges began to appear. Growth is never easy, and every success story has moments of struggle. Let's imagine for a moment that you are part of the Netflix team. You've seen your company grow from a small DVD mail service to a global streaming giant. Millions of people subscribe to your platform. The future looks bright, but suddenly, new competitors appear everywhere. Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, Apple TV Plus, and others. They all want to capture the same audience. Repeat after me. Competition makes you stronger. Say it again. Competition makes you stronger. That's a good lesson in business and in life. When you face challenges, you have 2 choices: give up or grow stronger. Netflix chose to grow stronger. To stay ahead, Netflix decided to invest more in original content. They wanted to make shows and movies that people couldn't find anywhere else. This strategy required billions of dollars in investment, but it was a smart move. The more exclusive shows they had, the more people would stay subscribed. In 2018, Netflix released Bird Box, a thriller starring Sandra Bullock. It became a global hit, watched by over 80 million households in its first month. Then came The Witcher, The Queen's Gambit, and Bridgerton. Each of these shows became a cultural event, discussed on social media and loved by fans across the world. Say this: Netflix creates global hits. Again, Netflix creates global hits. But behind the success, there were difficult decisions. Producing high-quality shows is expensive. Sometimes Netflix had to cancel series after only 1 or 2 seasons, which upset fans. People began to say Netflix cancels too many shows. That criticism became one of its biggest challenges. Still, the company listened and learned. It began testing new ways to decide which shows to continue. Data helped, but emotions and storytelling mattered too. After all, numbers can tell you what people watch, but not always why they watch. Let's pause here and think about that sentence. Repeat. Numbers show what people watch, not why they watch. That's true in many parts of life. Facts and data are important, but emotions drive human behavior. When you connect emotionally, whether in storytelling or in language learning, you create something powerful. Now let's talk about another important part of Netflix's growth: personalization. Have you noticed that when you open Netflix, it looks different from your friend's account? The order of shows, the thumbnails, and even the recommendations are unique. That's because Netflix uses a complex algorithm that studies your watching habits. It notices what you pause, what you skip, what you finish, and even what time you usually watch. Repeat. Netflix learns from my choices. One more time. Netflix learns from my choices. This system makes every user experience feel personal. It's a bit like having a smart friend who knows your taste perfectly. And it shows how technology can make entertainment more human. Now, let's move to an interesting story: how Netflix entered the world of movies. For a long time, Hollywood studios were the only ones making big films, but Netflix wanted to compete at that level too. They started funding their own movies, hiring famous directors and actors. In 2018, Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Director. That was a turning point. It showed that streaming movies could be just as artistic and meaningful as traditional cinema. Say this: streaming can be art. Again, streaming can be art. After Roma, Netflix produced even more award-winning films: Marriage Story, The Irishman, Don't Look Up, and All Quiet on the Western Front. Each of these movies proved that Netflix was serious about quality. It wasn't just about quantity or entertainment. It was about storytelling that touched hearts and challenged minds. At the same time, Netflix was also focusing on innovation and user experience. The company introduced features like Skip Intro and Next Episode, which became symbols of convenience. People loved being able to control their time. No commercials, no waiting, just pure watching. Let's take a quick language moment. The word convenience means something that makes life easier or more comfortable. Repeat. Netflix gives convenience to users. Now, try your own example. Learning English with stories gives me convenience. Perfect. But not everything was easy. In 2020, the world faced the COVID-19 pandemic. Many businesses shut down and people had to stay at home. For Netflix, this was both a challenge and an opportunity. On one hand, production stopped. Filming new shows became impossible for months. On the other hand, millions of people turned to streaming for entertainment during lockdowns. Netflix became a lifeline for people stuck at home. Shows like Tiger King, The Queen's Gambit, and Emily in Paris became international sensations. People were laughing, crying, and escaping reality through stories. Repeat after me. Stories bring comfort. But success during the pandemic also brought a new challenge. Once lockdowns ended, many people started spending less time watching Netflix. Subscriptions began to slow down. In 2022, Netflix reported its first subscriber loss in more than a decade. The news shocked the stock market and made headlines around the world. People asked, "Is Netflix in trouble?" The company's leaders responded with calm determination. They knew that every business faces ups and downs. Instead of panicking, Netflix focused on learning from the situation. They looked at why some users were leaving and what could make them stay. One big reason was competition. With so many streaming services, people were choosing only one or two. Another issue was account sharing. Millions of people were using Netflix without paying, by sharing passwords. To solve this, Netflix introduced new policies to limit password sharing and offered lower-priced plans with advertisements. It wasn't a popular decision at first, but it helped the company recover financially. Slowly, the number of subscribers began to grow again. Say this: every problem is a chance to improve. One more time. Every problem is a chance to improve. That's true for language learners too. Every time you forget a word or make a mistake, it's not failure. It's a chance to learn. You improve by trying, not by being perfect. Now let's return to Netflix's story. After 2022, the company realized it needed to focus more on quality than quantity. It started producing fewer but better shows. The goal was not just to fill the library, but to create unforgettable stories. Think of shows like Wednesday, The Sandman, and One Piece. These shows brought new audiences and captured imagination. They mixed fantasy, humor, and adventure, proving that Netflix could still surprise the world. Repeat. Netflix keeps evolving. Say it again. Netflix keeps evolving. And that's one of the biggest lessons from this story. Evolution never ends. Whether you are a company or a person, you must keep learning, changing, and growing. Let's pause for a quick vocabulary review. Repeat after me. Competition, the situation of trying to be better than others. Personalization, making something suitable for one specific person. Convenience, something that makes life easier. Evolving, to develop gradually over time. Excellent. You're learning and improving just like Netflix. Before we end this section, I want you to think about your own journey. Maybe you started learning English slowly, step by step, just like Netflix started with DVDs. Over time, you've learned to speak, to listen, and to understand more. You're adapting, improving, and building your own story of success. Say this proudly: I'm evolving every day. Now louder: I'm evolving every day. Beautiful. In the next section, we'll explore how Netflix continues to influence the entertainment world, how it changed culture, education, and even language itself. And we'll keep practicing your English with real phrases, questions, and reflections that make you think deeper. Have you ever noticed how Netflix has become more than just a company? It's now a part of everyday life, a word people use naturally in conversations. When someone says, "Let's Netflix and chill," everyone knows what it means. It's not just about watching movies. It's about relaxing, spending time together, and escaping into stories. That phrase became a symbol of how Netflix changed modern culture. Repeat after me. Netflix changed how we relax. Again, Netflix changed how we relax. That's true. A few decades ago, people waited for TV programs to air at a fixed time. They planned their evenings around shows. But Netflix flipped that idea. It gave power to the viewer. Now, we decide what to watch, when to watch, and even how fast to watch. We are in control. This shift from traditional TV to streaming was not just a technological change. It was a cultural revolution. It changed family habits, social life, and even language learning. People from different countries could now enjoy the same shows at the same time, creating global conversations. Think about Stranger Things. When a new season releases, millions of fans from around the world talk about it on social media. They share memes, theories, and reactions. That's cultural unity through entertainment. Say this: entertainment connects people. Once more, entertainment connects people. Netflix also influenced the way people learn languages. Many English learners watch shows with subtitles to improve vocabulary, pronunciation, and listening skills. But interestingly, native English speakers started watching foreign shows with subtitles too. For example, Money Heist in Spanish and Squid Game in Korean became global sensations. That means people were learning bits of new languages without even realizing it. So, in a way, Netflix became a global classroom. Let's practice a useful phrase. I learn English through stories. Repeat. I learn English through stories. Good job. Watching shows helps you understand natural English expressions, how people really talk. You learn intonation, rhythm, and real-life phrases. When a character says, "Are you kidding me?" or "Come on, you can do it," you're learning expressions used in daily conversation. Let's try one. Say it with emotion. "Are you kidding me?" Now another, "Come on, you can do it." Excellent. Now let's look at how Netflix influenced the film industry itself. Before Netflix, movies had to go through cinemas to reach audiences. But streaming allowed independent filmmakers and smaller studios to reach millions of people directly. That gave more opportunities to new voices and new cultures. In 2019, a film called The Platform from Spain became one of Netflix's top global hits. It was a strange, dark, and powerful story. The kind of film that might not have reached international theaters before. Netflix made it accessible to the world. Repeat after me. Stories from everywhere can reach everyone. Once more, stories from everywhere can reach everyone. That's a beautiful idea. Global creativity shared across borders. Netflix also became known for promoting diversity and inclusion. It produced stories featuring people of different races, genders, languages, and backgrounds. Shows like Sex Education, Never Have I Ever, and Heartstopper gave representation to young people who had rarely seen themselves on screen before. That made viewers feel seen and understood. Say this: representation matters. Again, representation matters, and it really does. When you see someone like you, speaking your language, facing your challenges, you feel inspired. That's one reason people love Netflix. It tells everyone's stories, not just the stories of a few. At the same time, Netflix's success changed how Hollywood operates. Big studios started investing heavily in streaming. The traditional idea of going to the cinema every weekend started to decline. While many still love theaters, the convenience of streaming made it hard to resist. You can watch a blockbuster film in your pajamas with popcorn from your couch. Let's practice pronunciation. Convenience. Say it slowly. Convenience. Great. Now repeat. Streaming gives us convenience. By 2021, Netflix had more than 200 million subscribers worldwide. That number is larger than the population of many countries. But success also brought new responsibilities. Governments began to regulate streaming content, asking for local taxes or rules about cultural representation. Netflix adapted, hiring local teams in many countries, and producing content that respected local traditions while still being global. Let's take a moment to appreciate how far they'd come. From a small DVD service started by two friends to a global streaming powerhouse. That's a remarkable journey. It shows the power of persistence, creativity, and faith in one's vision. Repeat. Big dreams start small. Again, big dreams start small, and that applies to your English journey too. You might feel like you're just starting, but every sentence you practice is progress. Every word you learn is a step toward fluency. Like Netflix, your journey takes time, but every effort builds your future. Now, let's talk about another thing Netflix introduced: personalization and data-driven storytelling. The company studied what people liked and even which posters made them click. If a user preferred action movies, Netflix might show a thumbnail with an explosion. If someone loved romance, the same movie might show a smiling couple on the cover. It's a brilliant use of psychology. Say this: Netflix studies what we like. One more time, Netflix studies what we like. Some people found that idea strange, the idea that a company knows your habits. But Netflix used that data not to invade privacy, but to improve the user experience. It's the same idea with learning English. The more you understand your own learning style, the faster you grow. So, think for a moment. Do you prefer watching shows with subtitles or without? Do you learn better by listening or by repeating aloud? When you know yourself, you can build your own best method to learn. Repeat after me. Knowing myself helps me learn. Good. Again. Knowing myself helps me learn. As Netflix grew, it also started investing in education and documentaries. Shows like Our Planet and The Social Dilemma taught millions about the environment, technology, and human behavior. These weren't just entertainment. They were lessons about life. Let's say this: learning can be entertaining. Again, learning can be entertaining. That's a powerful message. Netflix proved that storytelling isn't only about escape. It can also open your mind. It can teach empathy, curiosity, and understanding. Now imagine this. A teenager in India watches The Crown and learns about British history. A student in Brazil watches Dark and gets interested in German culture. Repeat this sentence with me. Netflix keeps innovating. Good. Innovate means to create something new or to make improvements. For example, Netflix innovated the way we watch TV. Or, I want to innovate my learning habits. Try saying that. I want to innovate my learning habits. Nice job. Netflix's growth also had another side: responsibility. As it reached millions of homes, people began asking the company to represent more voices and tell diverse stories. Netflix started including more shows that explored different identities, experiences, and cultures. Documentaries about the environment, social justice, and mental health became popular. It wasn't just about entertainment anymore. It was also about awareness and education. One of Netflix's famous documentaries, Our Planet, narrated by Sir David Attenborough, showed the beauty of nature and the importance of protecting it. The visuals were breathtaking, and the message was strong. We must care for our Earth. Another hit documentary was The Social Dilemma, which explored how social media affects our behavior and society. These programs encouraged people to think critically and make positive changes in their lives. Repeat after me. Netflix inspires and educates. Excellent. Let's learn a new word. Documentary. A documentary is a film that shows real events, people, or facts. For example, I watched a documentary about climate change. Your turn, say it aloud. Perfect. As Netflix grew, it also faced challenges. Internet access wasn't equal everywhere, and in some countries, people couldn't stream smoothly due to slow connections. So Netflix developed technology to make streaming easier even on weaker networks. They created tools to adjust video quality automatically, ensuring everyone could enjoy the experience. This focus on accessibility helped Netflix reach even more people across the world. By 2022, Netflix had more than 230 million subscribers, an incredible number. But growth started to slow. Many households already had Netflix, and competition was fierce. Some investors began to worry. The company had to find new ways to attract and keep customers. That's when Netflix decided to introduce new features like mobile-only plans for cheaper access, and even games to play inside the app. And guess what? It worked. Netflix continued to evolve, learning from its challenges. The company realized that the future of entertainment is not just about watching, but also about participation. They began investing in gaming, virtual reality, and even live events. It was a sign that Netflix would keep reinventing itself, just like it had done since 1997. Let's pause and practice some English together. I can reinvent myself at any age. Again, louder. I can reinvent myself at any age. Beautiful. Reinvent means to change yourself in a fresh new way. Just like Netflix reinvented entertainment, you can reinvent your learning journey. Maybe you start speaking more English every day, or you begin journaling in English, or you listen to English podcasts. Every small step counts. Netflix's story is full of lessons about creativity, courage, and adaptation. It shows that change can be scary but also full of opportunity. When Netflix moved from DVDs to streaming, many people doubted them, but they believed in their vision and worked hard. That's how success happens, through persistence, learning, and the courage to try again even when it's difficult. Repeat these affirmations after me. I am not afraid to change. I learn from my mistakes. I believe in my dreams. Fantastic. You're not just learning English, you're building confidence. By now, Netflix is more than a company. It's a symbol of modern storytelling. Its logo, that simple red N, is recognized everywhere. When you see it, you know you're about to go on a journey, to laugh, cry, or be inspired. And for English learners, it's also a great classroom. Every show, every movie, every documentary is an opportunity to listen, repeat, and grow. So, next time you open Netflix, remember this story. The story of innovation, courage, and global connection. And remember, your English journey can be just like Netflix's story, full of progress, creativity, and never-ending growth. When the world entered 2020, something unexpected happened. Something that changed the way people lived, worked, and entertained themselves. The COVID-19 pandemic arrived, and billions of people had to stay at home. It was a difficult and uncertain time. Many industries struggled, but one company found itself at the center of everyone's daily life: Netflix. Suddenly, streaming became more than just a pastime. It became a way to escape, to learn, and to stay connected. People couldn't go to cinemas, but they could watch movies at home. Families gathered in their living rooms. Friends watched shows together online. And Netflix became the main window to the world. Shows like Tiger King, The Queen's Gambit, and Bridgerton became cultural sensations. Everyone was talking about them, on social media, in online meetings, even in classrooms. Repeat after me. Netflix helped people during lockdown. Good. Again, streaming brought entertainment home. Excellent pronunciation. During this time, Netflix not only entertained but also educated. Documentaries about health, science, and the human spirit inspired people to stay hopeful. One powerful message from this period was that creativity never stops, even in hard times. Netflix's production teams worked remotely. Actors filmed under safety rules, and new projects were still completed. It was proof that innovation can overcome any obstacle. Let's learn a useful phrase. In hard times. It means during difficult situations. Say it aloud. We must stay strong in hard times. Beautiful. You're improving with every repetition. As months passed, more and more people subscribed to Netflix. 2020 alone, the company added over 36 million new users, a record-breaking number. It was growing faster than ever. But with success came new responsibility. People were relying on Netflix not just for entertainment, but for comfort and emotional balance. The company responded by adding more family-friendly content, uplifting movies, and shows that made people laugh or feel inspired. Have you ever noticed how stories can heal us? Sometimes a good movie or show gives us strength. It reminds us that we're not alone. That's the power of storytelling. It connects us to others and to ourselves. Netflix understood this deeply. Through its stories, it gave the world hope when it was most needed. Repeat after me. Stories give us hope. Again with emotion. Stories give us hope. Wonderful. But while Netflix was thriving, competition was growing too. Disney+, HBO Max, and Amazon Prime were releasing their own exclusive shows. The streaming war became tougher than ever. Each company tried to create unique experiences. Some had superheroes, others had classic franchises. But Netflix focused on diversity and originality. It wanted to offer something for everyone. Thrillers, romance, anime, comedy, and documentaries. Netflix also started investing in short-form videos, interactive shows, and games. It was exploring the future of digital entertainment. The company believed that storytelling could happen in many ways, not just through television. By experimenting, Netflix stayed fresh and exciting. It continued to surprise viewers with bold ideas and new voices from all around the world. Pause for a quick vocabulary check. Bold means brave or daring. someone who is not afraid to take risks. Say this with me. Netflix is bold with its ideas. Now personalize it. I want to be bold in my learning. Excellent, you sound confident. Another important thing Netflix did was support filmmakers from different backgrounds. It launched programs to help women, minorities, and new creators tell their stories. This commitment to inclusivity made Netflix not just a business, but a global platform for equality and representation. It believed that everyone deserves a voice. Let's practice another sentence. Everyone's story matters. Good. Now say, my story matters. Yes, that's true. Every person's journey is unique and valuable, just like yours. As Netflix expanded, it also faced criticism. Some people said the company spent too much money on content. Others worried that too much screen time could be unhealthy. Netflix listened and tried to find balance. It introduced reminders to take breaks, options to limit autoplay, and even partnered with mental health organizations. The message was clear. Entertainment should be enjoyable, not overwhelming. Repeat after me. Balance is important in life. Again, balance keeps us healthy and happy. Excellent. By 2021 and 2022, Netflix was still one of the most popular platforms on Earth. But the world was changing again. Inflation, economic slowdowns, and rising costs affected people everywhere. Some canceled their subscriptions to save money. Netflix had to adapt once more. The company introduced cheaper plans with ads and made partnerships with telecom companies to offer affordable bundles. These decisions helped Netflix reach new audiences while keeping loyal fans happy. There's an English phrase that fits this situation perfectly. Every challenge is a chance to grow. Repeat it slowly. Every challenge is a chance to grow. Good job. You can use this phrase whenever life gets difficult. It reminds you to stay positive and look for learning opportunities. Netflix's story is full of these moments of challenge and growth. When DVDs became old-fashioned, Netflix grew. When streaming became crowded, Netflix innovated. When the world stopped during the pandemic, Netflix adapted. Each time it found a way forward. That's what makes the company's story so inspiring. By 2023, Netflix had already changed the world of entertainment forever. What started as a small DVD rental company had grown into a global streaming powerhouse. People from every corner of the world, from big cities to small towns, were watching Netflix on their phones, tablets, and TVs. Its red N logo had become a universal symbol of storytelling, creativity, and innovation. But even after all that success, Netflix knew one thing for sure: change never stops. The world of technology moves fast. New platforms rise every year. Viewers' tastes evolve. That's why Netflix never became comfortable, kept experimenting, improving, and surprising its audience. This attitude, to keep learning, keep growing, is what made Netflix a leader, and that's exactly the mindset you need when learning English. Repeat after me. I will keep learning and growing. Good. Again, I will never stop improving. Beautiful. Keep that motivation alive. Netflix began focusing more on high-quality storytelling from around the world. Instead of just American or British shows, it started to highlight series from Japan, Nigeria, Germany, Brazil, and many other countries. The message was clear. Talent is everywhere, and great stories have no borders. In fact, some of the most successful Netflix series in recent years came from outside Hollywood. All of Us Are Dead from Korea, Lupin from France, and Elite from Spain gained massive international popularity. Netflix had become a true cultural bridge, connecting people who spoke different languages but shared the same emotions. Laughter, fear, love, hope. These are universal feelings that unite us all. That's the real power of storytelling. Repeat after me. Stories connect hearts. Again, we understand each other through stories. Wonderful. Your pronunciation is improving beautifully. Now let's talk about the people behind Netflix. Reed Hastings, the co-founder, was known not only for his business skills but also for his leadership style. He believed in giving employees freedom and responsibility. Instead of strict rules, he encouraged creativity and open communication. At Netflix, employees were trusted to make big decisions and were expected to think boldly. This culture of freedom helped Netflix move fast and stay innovative. Let's learn a few useful English words. Freedom, the power to make your own choices. Responsibility, being accountable for your actions. Culture, the shared values and behaviors of a group. Repeat this sentence. Freedom and responsibility lead to success. Excellent. And remember, these ideas apply to learning too. The more freedom you give yourself to explore English naturally, the more responsible you become for your progress. Another reason for Netflix's ongoing success was its focus on user experience. The company spent years perfecting how its platform looked and worked. When you open Netflix, everything is simple, colorful, and easy to navigate. This smooth experience keeps people coming back. Netflix understood that small details make a big difference, both in technology and in life. Repeat after me. Small details lead to big success. Now say it again with energy. Small details lead to big success. Excellent. That enthusiasm is exactly what you need when practicing English. Netflix also began exploring new kinds of entertainment. Live events, reality shows, stand-up comedy specials, and even sports documentaries. These new formats helped attract different audiences. For example, Formula One. Drive to Survive introduced millions of people to car racing, even those who had never watched it before. The show made the sport exciting, emotional, and accessible to everyone. This is another example of Netflix's magic, turning niche topics into global sensations. Speaking of magic, have you ever noticed how Netflix uses trailers and thumbnails? The short previews and pictures are carefully chosen to attract viewers. It's all about first impressions, a concept that's important in language learning too. When you speak confidently, even if you make small mistakes, people remember your energy and positivity. Just like a Netflix trailer, your words can make a strong first impression. Repeat this sentence. Confidence makes a strong impression. Say it again. Confidence makes a strong impression. Perfect. The more you speak English with confidence, the more natural you'll sound. Now let's explore a deeper idea, how Netflix teaches us about resilience. Over the years, Netflix has faced many challenges. Technology changes, new competitors, global crises, and market fluctuations. But through all of it, the company never gave up. It adjusted, learned, and kept moving forward. That's resilience, the ability to stay strong and bounce back after difficulties. Repeat after me. I am resilient. Good. Resilient means you can recover from challenges quickly. Now say, I am strong and I keep moving forward. Excellent pronunciation. You're doing great. Resilience is one of the most important skills for both success and language learning. Sometimes you might feel stuck. Maybe you forget vocabulary or struggle with pronunciation. But every small effort matters. Every time you listen, repeat, or write in English, you grow stronger. Remember, fluency is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Say this with me. Fluency is built one word at a time. Again, fluency is built one word at a time. Fantastic. You're building it right now. As Netflix continued evolving, it also started focusing on sustainability, protecting the environment while creating entertainment. The company invested in renewable energy and aimed to reduce its carbon footprint. It even supported documentaries and series that raised awareness about climate change. Netflix understood that success should not come at the cost of the planet. This idea of responsibility toward the earth is something we can all learn from. Repeat. We must protect our planet. Again. Small actions can make a big difference. Excellent. Another interesting trend was how Netflix began shaping the global language itself. Many English learners improved their skills by watching Netflix shows. They started picking up natural expressions, idioms, and cultural references. Shows like Friends, Stranger Things, and The Crown helped millions learn conversational English. That's why teachers often recommend watching Netflix as part of language learning. Let's practice a few everyday English expressions you might hear in Netflix shows. Take it easy, meaning relax. Hang on, meaning wait a moment. Guess what? Used when you're about to share something exciting. Repeat after me, take it easy. Hang on, guess what? Perfect. These small phrases make your English sound natural and fluent. Netflix's story also reminds us how creativity can change the world. Before Netflix, most people watched TV in a fixed way. Channels, schedules, commercials. Now you can watch what you want, when you want, wherever you want. That freedom has transformed entertainment forever. It shows us that innovation comes from asking simple questions. What if? Why not? Can we do this better? Pete, I can be creative and innovative. Again, I can find new ways to learn. Beautiful. Keep that growth mindset alive. By 2024, Netflix had become more than a company. It was a community of creators and viewers connected by stories. It wasn't perfect, no company is, but it was always learning, evolving, and trying to do better. And that's exactly what you should do in your English journey. You don't need to be perfect today. You just need to keep showing up, practicing, and believing in yourself. Let's take a moment for some positive affirmations. Repeat after me. I am learning something new every day. My English is improving step by step. I am proud of my progress. Yes, that's the spirit. Netflix's story is really the story of transformation, from DVDs to streaming, from local to global, from business to cultural movement. It's proof that big dreams can start small. It began with a few people who simply wanted to make movie rentals easier, but they stayed curious, brave, and determined. And look what they achieved. Repeat after me. Big dreams start small. Now louder. Big dreams start small. Excellent! You sound powerful. So, as you continue learning English, remember the lessons from Netflix's journey. Be curious like Reed Hastings. Be bold like the creators who took risks. Be resilient like the team that faced challenges. And most importantly, keep growing. One episode, one word, one day at a time. Every great story has an ending. But not every ending means it's over. Some endings are just the beginning of something new. The story of Netflix and your journey of learning English is exactly like that. Both started with curiosity, faced challenges, grew stronger, and discovered something extraordinary along the way. Today, Netflix continues to evolve just like you. It keeps learning from its mistakes, adapting to new technologies, and exploring the future of entertainment. The company invests in artificial intelligence, interactive storytelling, and even video games. It's experimenting with new ways for people to connect and feel emotions across screens. Netflix never stops asking questions. It asks, what do people want next? How can we make this better? How can stories reach every heart in every language? And that's the same spirit you should carry with your English learning. Keep asking questions. Keep exploring. Keep growing. Repeat after me. I will keep learning. Again, I will never stop improving. Perfect. Now, let's imagine a moment. You wake up one morning, and English no longer feels difficult. You can watch your favorite Netflix show without subtitles. You can understand the jokes, the emotions, the fast conversations. You can speak fluently, confidently, and naturally. You can write messages, express opinions, and tell your own stories in English. That moment is not far away. You are already walking toward it, word by word, sentence by sentence. Just like Netflix built its empire step by step, you are building your fluency one practice session at a time. Let's look back for a second. In 1997, two men with a small idea decided to change the way people watch movies. Most people didn't believe in them. Many said it was impossible. But they didn't give up. They kept working, learning, and improving, until the world finally caught up with their vision. You can do the same with English. Maybe people don't understand your dream yet. Maybe you've failed before or felt embarrassed. But remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker once struggled to find the right words. And every successful story begins with a single brave step. Repeat after me. Every expert was once a beginner. Again, I am becoming fluent. Excellent. You're doing amazing. Netflix teaches us that progress is not always fast, but it's always possible. Sometimes success grows quietly in the background while you're learning, practicing, and believing. And then one day, it becomes visible. Like the moment Netflix became a global name. That's how fluency works too. You may not notice improvement every day, but it's happening. Each time you listen, read, or repeat, your brain is connecting new patterns, new meanings, new sounds. Slowly, your English becomes smoother and more natural. Let's pause and celebrate that. Say, I am proud of my progress. Now say it. Again with confidence. I am proud of my progress. Beautiful, that pride will keep you motivated. Now let's return to Netflix for a final lesson. The power of connection. Netflix doesn't just stream shows. It connects people. It connects families who laugh together, friends who share recommendations, and strangers who cry over the same story. It reminds us that we are all human, no matter where we live or what language we speak. When you learn English, you're building the same kind of bridge. You're connecting with millions of people across the world. You're unlocking new cultures, opportunities, and friendships. English isn't just a language. It's a door to a bigger world. Repeat after me. English connects me to the world. Again, I can communicate with confidence. Fantastic. Your pronunciation sounds strong and clear. Netflix's journey also shows the importance of believing in your vision. There were times when even Reed Hastings doubted himself. When Blockbuster refused to buy Netflix, he could have given up. But he didn't. He kept going. And eventually the company that rejected him disappeared, while Netflix changed entertainment forever. So if you ever feel discouraged, remember that story. Success often hides behind rejection. Growth often hides behind struggle. The key is to keep moving forward. Say this with me. I will not give up. Again. I will keep going no matter what. Excellent. That determination will make you unstoppable. One of the greatest gifts of Netflix's success is how it democratized storytelling. Anyone, anywhere, can now create something amazing and share it with the world. It gave a voice to people who never had one before. And that's exactly what language learning does. It gives you a voice. It gives you the power to share your ideas, express your emotions, and tell your own story. You have a story worth sharing. Your story matters, and the more English you learn, the more people will hear it. Let's say that together. My story matters. I have a voice. I will share my story with the world. Yes, that's powerful. Keep saying it until you believe it completely. Now let's talk about something every learner needs. Patience. Netflix didn't become successful overnight. It took years of hard work, smart decisions, and constant learning. The same is true for English. You can't expect fluency in 1 week or 1 month. But if you practice consistently, you'll be amazed by how far you can go. Remember, Even watching English shows with subtitles is practice. Listening to English songs, reading simple stories, repeating new words, it all counts. Don't wait for perfection. Just start where you are, with what you have, and do your best. Repeat. Small steps every day lead to big results. Again, small steps every day lead to big results. Wonderful. That's your Netflix mindset for language learning. Let's imagine one more scene. You're sitting comfortably at home, watching a Netflix series in English. You understand the plot, the humor, the expressions. You're not just watching, you're learning. You're hearing new accents, discovering new cultures, and building confidence with every episode. That's not just entertainment. That's education in disguise. That's what Netflix has given to millions of learners around the world. The joy of learning through stories. And that's exactly what this video, and your effort today, is all about. You're learning English through story, through curiosity, through passion. And that's the most powerful way to learn. Before we end, let's review some key lessons from Netflix's story that you can apply to your English journey. Start small. Dream big. Don't wait for the perfect time. Begin today. Keep learning and adapting. Just like Netflix changed with technology, you can change your learning methods too. Be consistent. One show, one lesson, one word a day. It adds up. Be brave. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. They're signs of progress. Share your story. Language is meant to connect, not to isolate. Repeat each of these slowly. Let the words sink in. Start small, dream big. Keep learning and adapting. Be consistent. Be brave. Share your story. Excellent. You sound confident and ready for the next step. Now, as we reach the end of this story, remember that this is not just about Netflix. It's about you, your dreams, your growth, your future. You have everything you need to become fluent. You have the passion, the curiosity, and the strength to keep going. Whenever you doubt yourself, think of the red Netflix logo, a symbol of persistence, creativity, and innovation. Let it remind you that small ideas can change the world and that small steps can change your life. Say this one last time. I believe in myself. I'm improving every day. I can speak English with confidence. Yes, that's it. That's the spirit of a true learner. Thank you for joining me in this beautiful journey through the full story of Netflix. I hope it not only improved your English, but also inspired you to dream bigger and keep learning. Because like Netflix, your story is still being written, and the best episodes are yet to come. Congratulations on finishing this story. Keep shining, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself. You are the future of your own story.